Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Smith, and today I'm going to be talking about Gordon Allport. He, of course, is famous for developing the trait theory of personality and is often also considered one of the founding fathers of personality psychology as we know it today. Please excuse me, we're all getting over the flu in my house, so my voice might be a little squeaky or go in and out. Just bear with me. Also, my youngest one is here home with me today too. So if you see a little head pop up or you hear some noise, it's him. So let me get started with Gordon Allport. I found this really good article in the library entitled Allport's Life and Allport's Psychology. It was written by David Winter from the University of Michigan. I'll include a copy of the reference with my post. So here we go about Gordon Allport. He is an American. He was born in Montezuma, Indiana in 1897. He was the youngest of four brothers. His mother was a school teacher and his father was a physician. It's often said that the one great thing that Gordon's father gave him was a great work ethic. He was a very hard worker and studious. Even in high school, Allport was very hardworking. He opened his own printing business as a teenager and became the editor of his high school newspaper. He graduated high school in 1915 and earned a complete scholarship to Harvard College, where his older brother, Floyd, was already working on a PhD in psychology. So in 1919, Allport earned his bachelor's degree in philosophy and economics from Harvard. He traveled to Istanbul, Turkey, where he taught philosophy and economics. After a year of teaching, he returned to Harvard to finish his studies. In 1922, he earned his PhD under the guidance of Hugo Munsterberg. One of my favorite things about reading these articles was reading about Gordon Allport's experiences when he met Sigmund Freud. In 1922, Gordon Allport traveled to Vienna to meet the famous psychoanalyst. After entering Freud's office, he sat down nervously and told a story about a young boy he had seen on a train during his travels to Vienna. The boy, Allport explained, was afraid of getting dirty and refused to sit where a dirty-looking man had previously sat. Allport said he had his chance. He was going to theorize with the great Sigmund Freud. So Allport shared that his theory was that the child had acquired the behavior from his mother, who appeared to be very domineering. Freud studied Allport for a moment and then said, "Was that little boy you?" Allport viewed this experience as an attempt by Freud to turn a simple observation into an analysis of his own childhood. The experience would later serve as a reminder that psychoanalysis tended to dig too deeply. But Allport also thought that behaviorism did not dig deep enough. Instead, Allport chose to reject both psychoanalysis and behaviorism and embraced his own unique theory of personality, which he of course called the trait theory of personality. I thought it was funny that Gordon Allport often calls his experience with Freud as traumatic. He was horrified and embarrassed by it. So I just thought that was something neat that I found. Allport began working at Harvard in 1924. He later left to accept a position at Dartmouth. By 1930, he returned to Harvard, where he remained for the rest of his academic career. During his first year at Harvard, he taught what was most likely the very first personality class offered in the United States. His work as a teacher also had a profound effect on some of his students, some of them which were pretty famous, like Stanley Milgram, that we've studied before. Allport is perhaps best known for his trait theory of personality. He began developing his theory by going through a dictionary and noting every term he found that described a personality trait. Just think of how tedious that would be, opening up a dictionary and picking out every word that you think would be okay to describe a personality trait. After compiling this list, he had 4,500 different traits. He organized all of these into 3 categories. The first category was cardinal traits, the second category was central traits, and the third category were secondary traits. Now, cardinal traits are thought to be pretty rare. It's a trait that dominates an individual's entire personality. This is stuff we think of like when we think of Christ-like behavior, or we think of a Freudian behavior. It dominates the entire personality. Central traits are common and make up everyone's personality. These include traits like loneliness, loudness, honesty, friendliness. All of these are examples of central traits, and we all have those. The third category was secondary traits. These are traits that are only present under certain conditions. For example, someone getting nervous before delivering a speech to a large group of people, or perhaps someone getting nervous when they know they have to videotape themselves and post it on YouTube. Those are all considered secondary traits. So in addition to his trait theory of personality and being described as one of the founding fathers of personality psychology, Gordon Allport has had a lasting influence that is still felt today. Rather than focusing on psychoanalytical or behavioral approaches that were popular during his time, he instead chose to sort of mush them all together into an eclectic approach that we still use today. But that is Gordon Allport. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about him and hopefully about his experience with Freud as much as I did. Everyone have a nice evening.